Plan on this whole corner behind me. I'm gonna make into a what looks like a professional studio. So I'm gonna have like a black velvet curtain, and I'm gonna get an on-air
Okay.
sign. So it's gonna look nice. I'm just trying to make
Yeah.
it look as cluttered as possible for right now.
I mean, it's better than just a wall of Funko Pops sitting behind.
Yeah,
Mm.
well, you and Wally should do the Funko Popcast. You guys
I
would.
We
turned the
should,
lights
but
off, so that way
ooh,
you
yeah,
can't see
it is
it.
very romantic over there. You got the
I
wine, the
know.
flower, the
Got the
candles.
flowers, the candles. Like you're about to get freaky.
Oh, yes, no. Well, it's National Wine Day.
Oh.
So
Is it?
it is. So here she is celebrating. We're not very religious, but
Yeah.
I'll put this one down in my calendar.
I said on the Patty Dwyer podcast, I was like, it looks like we're watching your OnlyFans. And I'm like, now we got Kyla on. It looks like we're watching her
Oh,
OnlyFans too.
no. Well, that's why you don't see like the shoe rack and like all the jackets and
Mm-hmm.
everything. It's better in the dark.
Uh, well, we're burning up minutes here, folks. So
Mm,
let's get this
I'm
thing rolling.
sorry.
You're fine.
Oh, it's not your fault.
We
It's
just
our fault. We're cheap.
we haven't bought like a subscription to Zoom yet, so we're still stuck to 40-minute calls. Let me turn my ringer off before I forget. So,
But your ringer?
my ringer on my phone.
Dude, no one says ringer except my grandpa.
Shut up. What do you call it?
Sound.
Really?
let's
Okay.
start the
All right.
podcast.
You want to do the ad read up front?
Yeah, are we already live? Are we
Yep.
already recording?
Yes.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
Do
Thank
it.
you to our sponsor, Aquaries, which consists of a team of creatives headed by experienced content creators Patty Dwyer, Zachary Perkins, and Dalton Roan. They specialize in entertainment photography and filming, producing music videos, mixing music, as well as producing and hosting comedy shows. Got an idea? They'll bring it to life. Catch them on Chromecast on April 25th. Contact their Facebook or Instagram to find out how they can bring your vision to life. And of course, as always, thank you to our Patreon supporter, Ernie Kinnemer, and let's start the show.
I love that. I love like all those people.
They are good people. Yeah, we can never hear it. Only Jason.
Oh, you know what that music means? It is Thursday night, and it's time for the Open Micers podcast. I'm Jason Robbins.
I'm Jacob Craig, and our guest tonight is local comedian Kyle A. Grace.
What'd you call me?
Jacob froze. I guess it's that
He
Van.
froze.
It's that Van Cleve internet.
Oh no.
He's got to run
The wind's
outside.
really
And,
blowy outside.
yeah, he's got to run outside and make sure the hamster's running on the wheel to make it go. So
Is he gonna stand on the roof and adjust the
yeah,
antenna?
he's got like one arm in the air, like holding, like some.
As long as he isn't making Miss Sue. Okay, Mom, go stand out on the roof, please, so I can do my
Yeah,
podcast.
his poor mom's out on the roof. She's got like tin foil like holding it up in the
Right.
air.
I don't care if it's lightning, Mom. I need internet.
But you are Kyla Grace, or as
That
he
is
was
me.
going to joke that you are Kyle A. Grace. Oh, there he goes. He
He's
just
such a
dropped out.
doofus.
Oh, there he goes. So, you are actually going to be a part of the roast battle coming up, aren't you?
Nope,
You're not
that's
part
not
of it.
me. I'm not in this roast battle. So I like to call myself a sea biscuit. And so if you can beat me at the roast, okay, good. I'm boosting your confidence so you can actually compete with the real thoroughbreds. But
Guys, I died
no,
and came back to life.
I know. I
here
see
she
that.
is.
Yeah, and you just
And
killed the
so
podcast.
no,
So,
right.
I'm
And so
sorry.
anyway, no, I'm not gonna be on this roast battle, but I mean we definitely have I guess we have a few things coming up. We're talking about doing another murder mystery dinner at the O'Keefe Museum.
how
And
did the murder
so,
mystery dinner go?
oh my
I wanted
God,
to
oh
go, but
my gosh, it was fantastic. First off, we sold out like 3 nights before the show even like was there. Everybody was on time. The team was just great. And the audience loved it. The Chandelier Brewing Company loved it. Making groceries, they did some really good food. And so we definitely had a really good time.
But yeah,
That's
next
awesome.
one you do, I definitely want to do that one because I've never done that before, and I think that'd be interesting to do.
So there's different ways you can do it, and I think it all just depends on what the venue wants and what kind of performance they're looking for. So like we didn't really even have a stage. And so we ended up using the actors, they were rotating. And so the audience just stayed in their seat the whole night, and then these characters would just go by and start talking like shit about each other. I think he did it that bitch. Like, oh, it was so funny. Mel and Nikki ended up like getting in a fight, and like Nikki ripped her wig off. What did
What?
you say? And like run it across. It was so great. I mean, we planned it, but it just the execution was. You couldn't have done it any better.
That sounds awesome.
Mm-hmm. And so we had Brian King. He was like my backup cop. He was taking photos the whole time, but he had these like aviators, and Nikki was the girlfriend. Nikki Coleman, Mel Strobel, she was the sister. And then we had Jeremy Lambert, who played the uncle. And of course, Zachary Perkins played, his name was Zach. And
Boo.
so he played the loan shark. Oh, he was great at it. He had this like gold
Doubt it.
chain on. And so, oh, he looked really, it was good. Everybody dressed up great. Everybody loved their characters. And when I first saw it actually going through in the first rotation, I was like, guys, it's really working. We're actually doing this. I didn't think that it would actually, I was like, because it's the first time doing one of those shows. I mean, the first time you ever do like a showcase somewhere,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like you don't know if it's actually going to work at this. And then it did. And it was like,
Oh
okay,
yeah.
maybe we can do it again. But so
Yeah.
yeah, the Aura Keith wants us.
That's amazing. I hope you get that deal done for sure. I know that like anytime I book a showcase, I'm always extremely shocked that it actually comes together. Like it actually gets.
Right. And like people actually show up and like actually
Yeah.
are there to do what they're supposed to do. Like all of my actors showed up on time. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. There's no way.
Oh, that's my biggest concern always at all times working with comedians is that maybe one of them will just not show up. And then
Mm.
like not even on purpose, they're just like, "Oh, I forgot. You didn't remind me 10 minutes ago to
Yeah.
be here." So,
That's why you don't see me running shows anywhere because
yeah.
I've been through in the entertainment industry so long that I know I've done everything before, and I just don't like the stress. So I would rather just show up. That's what
Yeah,
I want
and
to do. Just show
you're
up.
at the age now where you need to start worrying about your heart too, so
Yeah,
you can't be under a lot of
I
stress.
know. That's actually the truth. Like I don't want to
Yeah.
have a heart attack when I'm 45.
And I'm at the weight now where I need to really be worried about my stress. I probably should stop booking shows too.
It's not easy. It sucks. I hate like the stress of
Yeah.
just having
But
to
the
worry about that crap.
but the payoff is amazing though. I mean, like
Yeah,
Kyle was
when you can pull
describing.
off the show, it
Yeah.
was. I was like, oh my gosh, we could do it again, and we'll do it again. And now I'm
Mm.
like on this like it's the adrenaline rush now.
Yeah, it's like when you accomplish anything, when you finally get to the point of like, holy shit, I did it. You know, like especially
Mm-hmm.
when you were in doubt of if you could do it or not, and you finally do it. It's like the payoff is indescribable. It's like the best feeling in the world.
I wouldn't say I was in doubt, but I definitely there was a couple of sleepless nights. I have to
Yeah.
thank everybody for letting me message them at like 2:30 in the morning. Hey, this is about this year character. You got to do this. Like I would send them like crazy notes, but they were like, but they loved it too. I really, um, everybody had a good time. They all want to do it again, and so you can make them bigger. You can have. I mean, we only had four suspects, so I bet you, I mean, I've seen shows pull off with like six or eight different suspects.
Yeah. And so is like live I mean this kind of thing, this murder mystery kind of thing, it's sort of I mean it is live theater in a
Mm-hmm.
way. So I mean is this the kind of thing that you want to venture more into, like live acting, that sort of thing?
Well, so the way that we did it is I didn't tell my actors everything. I told them like little bits of their character. This is how they knew each other. But when it comes to being the character, And I mean, it's comedy, but at the same time, like they were telling stories. Like Jeremy went off on a bit on like I don't know what kind of drugs I can mention
Hmm.
here on the podcast, but he was like, he did a whole bit about cocaine because his character's a gambler and he has all kinds of addicts, and so he started. It's theater improv almost. Like he
Yeah.
knows his character, but he doesn't know exactly what he's going to say. There was no complete said written script, and it was a lot of coming off of each other. So like, I guess it was like a little bit of improv, but um, the structured improv. It was like a half and half. But they had a lot of freedom to do what they wanted to. Like I didn't tell Nikki to pull off her wig. She did that on her own. I was like, she just went poof, and just pulled at it, yelling at Mel because they didn't like each other. And so, and then of course I'm like this really bad cop, and I'm trying to separate them, and then that doesn't work. And then Brian's just standing there taking photos, and he has this like SWAT team jacket on. And I mean, he looked great too. He had like a CSI cap. He looked like a straight up cop. And I had like a gun belt. I got props from it's not movie sets. And I did this on the Croncast. It's movie sets. It says movie sets on the outside of it in
Yeah,
Slidell. They sponsored us with props.
that's cool.
And so yeah, so we got to I like it had like fake guns. I was still scared of them. I wasn't quite I couldn't even pull them out the holster.
Yeah, there's two of those actually. That movie sets place that's in Slidell
And
that
then
you
they own
pass
the place
by.
in Gulfport.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
place in Gulfport too that it's a huge warehouse just full of
Oh
movie props.
yeah.
It's awesome. I
But
love
yeah,
it
and
in
they'll
there.
do weddings and like their haunted house every year. The Terror on the Coast is
Hmm.
huge.
Every year. Did they do
Hmm.
it this year? I don't know if they did or not.
Yeah, I went through. I mean, like I said, we have just a family friend that works for the guy, and he was the one that was able to give me the hookup. And he does. He does the haunted house every year. He fixes a lot of like the cars because he has like a bunch of cars. If you ever get, you can tour the movie set place in
Yeah.
Slidell. And so they have like the computer system from Planet of the Apes or
Oh
one of
wow.
them. And so they have, I mean, it's like a nerd fields. Like I was like, oh my God, look at this and look at this. And they took me to like the gun section because I needed guns, or like they supplied us with this giant case of money. And that
Wow.
was my like, oh, it was great. But they're, I mean, they had everything there. They have cars, they have RVs.
Don't they have an Ecto One? The car from
But
Ghostbusters?
I don't know. I didn't get to. It was like really rainy that day, so I didn't walk outside too much, and plus I had to go to work.
I
Anyway,
think they
I
do.
didn't get to walk the whole property.
I'm pretty sure they had that set up at either this year's or last year's Haunted Trail. I think they did one of those.
Okay.
I
Well,
want
they
to say.
for sure have like some kind of James Bond car. There's like a little bitty convertible thing, but it was like taken apart, but it had it was like some kind of fancy. I don't know cars. They had cars.
Yeah,
Actually,
I'm not a car guy.
I don't know cars.
I actually got to film a movie in the warehouse over in Gulfport, and
Oh, shut up.
I was just kind of off by myself in between scenes or whatever, and just walking around because the place is like the size of like 2 or 3 football fields, and I'm
Right.
just kind of walking around in there looking at stuff, and all of a sudden I come up like in the middle of this one Western-looking set, and there's like a bunch of dead stuffed horses everywhere.
Hell
So I'm
yeah.
like, what is this? I took some pictures, I took a video, and I went back and asked one of the producers. I was like, "What's up with all the dead horses over there around the corner?" He's like, "Oh, that they used that in Django Unchained." It's like, "Oh,
Whoa.
Oh,
okay."
geez.
What movie were you shooting there? Was it Mississippi River Sharks?
No, it was called Glass Talons of the Iridescent Raven.
Almost as good.
Yeah.
Almost as good as Mississippi River Sharks. Nothing will quite reach that level. We need to hurry up and get Jason London on so we can talk about Mississippi River Sharks.
Yeah, I
I'm
know.
just gonna-
Mississippi River Sharks. I'm so invested now.
Have you seen it, Kyla?
Oh,
No.
it's awful.
So it's an amazing
Okay.
movie. It's really character driven, you
Yeah.
know. I mean, there's a
Okay.
lot of it's a really thick plot. Like, I mean, you can't just watch it on the surface. You have to do a lot of film study on it. But it was a sci-fi original movie in which Wally got eaten by a shark, I believe.
No,
Okay.
me nor Wally got to be eaten by sharks.
I thought he got eaten by a shark. I don't know. I haven't
No.
seen it all the way through, but um,
Who?
Yeah,
I don't think
Jason and
anybody's
Wally.
seen it all the way. I don't even think the director has seen it all the way through.
But Jason and Wally worked on it, and Jason London was in it, and it's my favorite movie of all time. There were a lot of local people who were in it.
Which river had the sharks in it?
It was
This
in
is
Ocean
going to be a
Springs,
new.
wasn't it?
It didn't necessarily describe anything correctly, so I imagine we were supposed to be on the Mississippi River. I don't know. I don't
But
know.
you guys shot it in Ocean Springs.
Yeah,
right?
we shot it on one of the piers or boat docks over in Ocean Springs, and that was a long 2 days of shooting. That was very
There's
uncomfortable.
a lot of mud and crabs. Did y'all get in the water?
And sharks.
No.
Yeah.
No, there's.
They did have a remote control shark though, which was cool.
Okay.
How much of the sharks were CGI, Jason?
All of it, every single
Yeah.
bit. There was like
You can
a
tell.
dummy shark that they used as like a placeholder for where the CGI would be, which was kind of cool because I mean it looked like a shark. It was just kind of you could tell it was fake, but
Yeah.
other than that, that was they had the remote control shark, which is basically just the top of a shark with like a little remote control boat underneath or a submarine underneath it, so you could have like the shark fin come out of the water.
And then a real alligator comes out and just eats it.
I'm surprised it didn't.
It should have been Mississippi River alligators. You could have used real gators for
Yeah,
that.
no kidding.
No, that's the sequel. Mississippi
Yeah.
River Sharks versus Mississippi Alligators.
We need to do a reunion panel for Mississippi River Sharks on this podcast.
You know what? I'm going to look and see if it's streaming anywhere because if you guys actually want to watch it, I don't suggest it.
They still
I'm
show
totally
it on
watching
Sci-Fi
it.
Channel.
No,
I
I'm totally
I caught
watching
it on
it.
Sci-Fi the other day.
Is it? Are they still playing it?
Yeah, they still
my
play it on
God.
Sci-Fi. Like at 3 a.m, I just found it on, and I was like, "Holy shit! I found it!"
Dude, I literally cannot even find it on Just Watch.
Yeah, it's
It's on
it's a little
YouTube.
obscure.
It should be on YouTube.
Wow.
You can always rent.
I'm trying to look on Amazon and see if you can rent it.
I mean, whatever amount it is, it's
Too
too
much?
little. It's too little. I would pay even more just to watch Mississippi River Sharks again.
Let's see. No, it's not even. You can't even get like a DVD or anything, so you just kind of have to just hope you like turn on Sci-Fi and just hope you see it.
Yeah, if you have DirecTV, just look for Mississippi River Sharks on Sci-Fi Channel. I was lucky. I was one of the lucky ones. But I feel like we've talked too much about Mississippi River Sharks. Yet again, we do this
We
every
always
episode.
do. I don't know why. Why do you keep bringing it up?
Because I'm in love with it, Jason.
You're just
when
jealous.
A man is in love.
You're just jealous because you've never been in a movie yourself.
You know what? You're right. And I've had a chance to be in a movie,
And
and
you
I
missed it.
turned that chance down, and I'm never gonna live it down, man.
Yeah, you missed your window. You could have been the next Tom Cruise.
I could have been the next Tom Cruise, or at least like the next Jonah Hill.
I
maybe.
was just about to say that.
No, you could never be Jonah Hill.
You could be the next Jonah Hill, Kyla.
Let's get back to Kyla. She's
Yeah.
our guest. Let's ask her
Have
I
some
you-
love
questions.
Jonah Hill. Y'all
So
be nice to
Kyla, have you
Jonah
ever
Hill.
been in an awful sci-fi original movie?
No, but I did take like short films for festivals in Canada when I was at the art camp. Anyway, so
Who the hell
But it
goes
was
to
a
camp in
silent-
Canada?
it was a Christmas present, and my dad sent me up there, and I kept going back. But no, I did short films for festivals, and one of the films that we ended up doing had to be a silent film,
Ooh.
and it was great, but the ending was really cheesy to the point where he just had to paint something, and the final scene is him like putting up a piece of artwork that's in a collage of other ones, and then one of the pieces is just a spoon taped to a piece of paper. We were literally teenagers given a camera.
Yeah.
We were gonna make something stupid, and so it was just a spoon taped to a piece of paper. I did it, and he could sleep now, and he was no longer an insomniac because he taped a spoon to a piece of paper.
So were you behind the camera or in front of
I
the
was
camera?
the one directing. I directed that one.
Okay.
And so I got to act in a couple more. We did like scary film. Like we each had a genre. And so ours was the silent. So I acted in the scary one. And all I had to do was stand there. And you don't really have to do much because they just edit you like in and out and make it real quick.
Yeah.
And yeah, I didn't do much. I mean, there was like no saying. They like put animal sounds with me. It's nothing like being sound covered by an animal. It's like, but it's just me, and I'm supposed to be making all these noises because I had a mask on.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense. I was like, that's very insulting.
Right.
they just put animal noises over here. Like, oh, this is the
Right.
monster.
This is the monster.
But have you thought about doing any more acting? Because, like, let's face it, I mean, Mississippi right now is kind of booming when it comes to movie and TV productions.
Well, yeah, I would love to. I signed up for one of the acting agents. This was years ago, like only a couple, but I signed up for it. But the idea is you just got to go to these auditions, and you have to dress the part. It's sometimes you're just an extra, and then so I did an extra one time. I was in New Orleans. It was for 12 rounds with God, what's that wrestler's name?
The Rock?
But they filmed it's not Cena either. It's like
Hulk Hogan?
no, he's younger.
Macho Man Randy Savage.
No, it wasn't him either. Now I'm about
Chris
to look at the...
Jericho.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, I got it. I won.
That's it. And you get to be this, and you get like $20 maybe, and I got to drive all the way to New Orleans, and then just for them to cut my scene, so I'm not even in the fucking movie.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan.
So I've been there. I've done a little bit of that too, but
I'm not a fan of doing like the background stuff, like because I started out kind of doing that. Doing back, and that's what Mississippi River Sharks was. I've done a couple other productions where it was kind of background work, and I hate it. I can't stand it. It's like 12.
And then you're treated like a piece of trash, like a prop that's just
12
put right
to 18
here.
hours.
You stand right here,
and you like
and
most of the time you're doing small production stuff, and you like don't even get like like a place to sit. So like during Mississippi River Sharks, I literally took naps on the concrete. Because I had nowhere to sit.
Oh my god, dude! But that was worth it, though, right? To get that on your resume.
Yeah, it was awesome. I got so much work off of that.
Yeah, I had a chance to be in.
Do you really put it on your resume, Jason? I'm sorry. I'm really
on my acting resume, I do, not on anything else.
Well, I guess. Oh, look at that! I guess I should start building on that thing.
Yeah,
an acting resume.
Yeah, you should build an acting resume, and once you get, how many professional productions do you need before you get a SAG card? Don't you only need like 3?
I don't remember exactly what the requirements are, but you have to have speaking lines in a SAG production. There's
already a Kyla Grace in the SAG, and I'm very sad.
Well, then you could just be Kyle A. Grace.
No.
That's what I introduced you as when I was bugging out. I was going to do that bit where I forgot who you were. And so I said, Kyle A. Grace. Oh, did I get the right guest? And then I just bugged
mad
out.
Because your mother loves me.
Yeah, she loves you more than she loves me. But that's not saying
I don't think that's very true.
I think she loves all of us more than she loves you.
She does. She thinks of you all as her children, which is weird because Jason is like 10 years younger than my mom.
Oh, she always shares her mushrooms with me. Her deep fried mushrooms. Yeah, her fried
I
mushrooms.
was like, wait, I haven't gotten the mushrooms. I was very.
Her mushrooms.
We get stoned and we ride and we like, we go to other dimensions and talk to light beings together. It's great.
We've actually met Joe Rogan before on the astral plane. You guys should come.
Your mom meets him on the regular. She's like, all right, I'm going to go meet Joe Rogan. She sits on the couch.
Next thing you know, Jacob's mom's going to have like a, what do you call those pods, those isolation pods put in the house?
Oh, yeah.
Deprivation tank, whatever it's called.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Dude, I've thought about starting podcasts with my mom because what we'll be riding in the car together, and you don't have to talk to my mom to have a conversation. You just have to exist. And she'll just constantly keep talking to me and tell me stories over and over again that she's already told me. And then she'll be
Dude.
like, "Oh, look,
But
a
she'll
Volkswagen
listen to
Beetle."
your stories. She's such a great listener
Just
too.
let's get her on the podcast.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean,
Comedy
Tell your
Mom
mom.
podcast.
She's the
Is she not
comedy
holding
mom,
the
man, dude.
antenna
She
on the
takes
roof
care
right
of all.
now?
How many cigarettes have we all bummed off of her over the
Hundreds,
last
dude.
4 years, 3 years? It's got to be
Hun-
thousands of dollars worth. Got to be.
Yeah, for sure.
I've smoked at least.
I've
smoked your college education away at least.
Yeah, probably. But speaking of 4 years ago, man, Kyla, when we first met, I don't even remember how long ago it was, but when we first met, I think you had been doing comedy for about 6 months, maybe.
It took
How
me
long
a
have you
while
been-
to get to the Kraken.
Yeah, how long have you been doing comedy now?
I thought it was 2 years, but I might be off on my math. It might be 3 years now that you say something.
When I met you, weren't you
I might have
doing?
lost a year.
Weren't you doing open mics at Boots and Spurs? Was that what it was called at the
Yeah.
time? That
But
was
even
when we
before
met.
that, I saw you at the Juke, and you
Right.
had told me that you had been doing comedy for about 6 months, and I had been doing it for about a year at that point, I think, and that was
Okay, so maybe it's been 3 years. I've
yeah,
been
because that was
doing this-
forever ago.
Yeah, I guess so.
I was 18 at that point. I had just turned 18.
I was thinking about that today too. I was like, wait, Jacob's almost a man.
Yeah, next
It's
Thursday.
been a minute.
Next Thursday, I'm gonna convince Jason to get drunk with me on the podcast because it's
I'll
my
do it.
21st birthday.
Hey, you
Yeah.
know what?
Dang,
Drunk
I
cast.
came on the wrong podcast.
Well,
Damn.
next Thursday, I might actually have a Hulk Hogan stash if this bet doesn't
Yes,
go my way.
Dude, that would be so damn entertaining.
What's the
For you guys
bet?
to get drunk as Hulk Hogan.
I made a bet with Wally that well, can I spoil this? I mean, I don't want to spoil anything.
Okay, so WandaVision spoilers.
Oh, I know. I've been reading all of it, watched all of it. Let's
Well,
do
basically,
it. Go.
there's a
I'm
character
in
on
the meme groups.
there's a character on the show who is playing a character that is related to her, but is not
Oh,
the
I think
same
I know who-
actor.
Right.
But is the actor that played that same character in another set of movies, if that makes any sense.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the same universe, but almost like a different
Yes.
dimension.
And this has already been spoiled for me, so I imagine if anyone's listening, it's probably already been spoiled for you if you haven't seen it. It's
But
everywhere.
we made a bet because my theory is that he is Loki. Because they're going to
Okay.
have the Loki series, and they're going to have to do something regarding
It wouldn't
Loki.
be the first time he's pulled that trick,
Exactly.
though, either.
And also, this is going to have to go into the multiverse of madness, which is the next Marvel phase, 5 we're in now, the Doctor Strange movie. So why would it not be Loki? That's my
Well,
theory.
and
And
then-
Wally is adamant that it is not. So we made a bet that if it turns out to be Loki, he loses. Whoever loses the bet has to shave their beard into a handlebar mustache like Hulk Hogan.
I don't think he's even real. I don't think he's real. I think it's her own production.
And then
I
if
mean-
you're right about that, then Jason has to have a Hulk Hogan mustache.
Okay. What about how deep are we going into spoilers?
Screw it. Let's
Say
just
whatever.
spoil it. Let's just.
You can say whatever you want.
If you've
It's
never
whatever.
seen WandaVision, you don't want to be spoiled. Stop the podcast right now. That's
Okay,
all I'm
so
saying.
well, there's the Agatha theory.
Yes.
So I mean that one was almost confirmed this last episode, but it's the idea that she's trying, like, she can't do it, she's not a part of it or anything.
Yeah.
That one's kind of like,
Well, she was
is
dressed
she or
like a
isn't
witch
she?
for Halloween.
That's what I'm saying. That one kind of confirmed it. I thought for me, but it didn't really confirm. She's not presented as Agatha.
But no, I personally, I think he's going to turn out to be Loki because there was a flash where she turned around and saw him with all the bullet holes in him.
He was dead, right? That's why I think it's like one of her
So I think it's
astral projections.
I think Loki is messing with her because we have to acknowledge the fact that, remember in Endgame, who was the what do they call it? Whatever Doctor Strange was, the one before him. the grand
Ancient one.
ancient one. She said if you take a stone out of the timeline, it creates a whole separate timeline and messes everything up from then on because that stone is not where it's supposed to be. So when they had to go back and put all the stones back that they got them from at the end of the movie to make the timeline work, Loki still had the
Tesseract,
the
yeah.
Tesseract in
Oh, that's
2014
right, yeah.
and disappeared. So that stone never got put back where it's supposed to be. So this might be that dark timeline that created by Loki.
And the whole thing could get erased before the Multiverse of Madness movie.
Could.
I haven't even seen the show, and I'm already just speculating with you guys.
It's a good show. You need to watch it.
It's really good.
If you need,
to pirate it.
I'll give you my Disney Plus password and you can
You
watch
just
it.
now offered this to me. I definitely need that. I need to binge all of it. I haven't even seen the first season of The Mandalorian, dude.
Dude, you are the worst nerd ever.
I know. But we only have 8 minutes left, so I wanna talk about Kyla for 8 more minutes.
Okay. It's my favorite subject.
Yeah. It's my favorite subject too for this 40-minute period.
I'm excited.
So what are your goals in the entertainment industry, Kyla? Like where do you want to be as far as comedy and live productions and that sort of thing?
So I love the idea of just being local. A local economy is a way to stabilize yourself. If you're feeding into your local, you're feeding into your global economy. And so I love the idea of feeding into that economy. I mean, there is a hole for murder mysteries, and I would love to fill that hole.
Yeah.
Hey
now.
And so, but also there's a great idea of doing even smaller shows. I mean, have any of y'all ever thought about doing we could do a skit show for the Mary C. O'Keefe? They have a great auditorium there. It's small. Yeah. I mean, there's always the Sanger. I know there's different theater companies there too, but we can also do stand-up shows there too. People do stand-up for crowds all the time. Absolutely, if we make a big enough festival for it or something, it would be great.
See, that's something they needed to really take care of in the Biloxi downtown area is the Sanger Theater.
I love the Sanger.
I love the Sanger, but they could be doing so much more with it, like big comedy shows and stuff, but it's falling apart. It's just not,
that's what, it's not even bigger comedy shows. It's the idea of it's smaller, but for us it would be a bigger crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But we could do, we could fit a lot of people in there.
Yeah.
I think we could at least do the first floor.
How many people does that place seat? At least 1,000, I would think.
I was thinking 1,000, but I bet it's more like 750.
That's still a lot of people, though.
That's still a lot of people. Even if we sell only 300 tickets,
maybe we should do
still another show that they haven't sold.
Maybe once COVID's over with and we can start doing big shows again, let's get one big comedian like Brent Terhune or somebody to come, and let's just have a comedy festival. All the local people.
There we go.
Come in and do a day of it. I think it would be. I think it would be something fun for people to do.
And we could have a schedule, and people could come in by their time slots.
Yeah, I'm 90% confident I could get Stephen Hofstetter to come headline the Sanger for us. Because I've thought about hitting him up to get on our podcast too. I've had a connection with him for a little while, so I could probably get him to come headline. And Mark Norman will do anything, man. We know a guy who knows Mark Norman, so we could get him to come headline the Sanger.
Well, maybe we should get together and let's talk to the people at the Sanger, and let's shoot for maybe a summer thing, because hopefully everybody will be vaccinated and ready to go by summertime. Hopefully.
Even then, September, October, the weather's still good.
Yeah, true.
Mm-hmm. That kind of thing, man. If you have a big headliner and you have a big comedy thing going on, no matter when it is, people are going to want to come see it.
Well, if we secure a good headliner and we get a lot of the local comedians, I think we could get some good sponsors too. Because we got connections with the Brownwater Banter podcast, and they have a lot of connections. So we could get a lot of sponsors for it too, to help pretty much pay for it without having to come out of pocket.
Yeah. Well, and then it's publicity for these venues as well. I know once things again start opening up, these places are going to want shows. They're going to want something that can be done. And if, I mean, it's not going to be hard for us to get comedians that can do time.
Yeah.
And
well, I think
so,
pretty much everybody we know could do at least 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But we're coming up on the last couple of minutes, Kyla. We always like to ask people what you've been doing comedy for what, at least 3 years now.
It's up for debate. We don't know how long.
At least 3 years. So what advice do you have for if anybody listening to this that wants to come out to the open mics and wants to do comedy and hasn't done it yet? What is your advice for kicking them in the ass and getting them on stage to do it?
All right. So I said this on the podcast last Wednesday with Phil Cron. You're not a real artist unless you've struggled with your art. And so if you're struggling with your art, that just means you're on your way there. And so if you're struggling to get on stage, it's okay to have struggle. That means you're actually working toward what you want to do. And I guess for me, that's perform and do open mics and be a bad cop with a megaphone. Oh my God, they should never have given me the megaphone. But you have to struggle with it. And so if you're struggling, that's okay. That, like I said, it just means you're on your way there.
Yeah. And magic happens when you step out of your comfort zone. And we've told people this 100 times. If you want to get up there and do it, you don't even have to do a full 5 minutes. If you want to do it, you only have one good joke. Just get up there and do the one joke.
I think my first set, I only did like 2.5 minutes maybe. Yeah. But if this is really what you want to do, you'll do it.
Yeah.
You'll do it and you can do it. That's all it is you can.
Well, tell everybody where they can find you on the interwebs.
My X-rated websites. I'm kidding. No, just my Facebook. I have a Facebook page. That's Kyla Grace, and you can like it. Kyla Grace Comedy. It's like a really funny picture of me with my head like too turned and overdone eyebrows. I need to get better pictures done. So if y'all know a good like headshot artist, please somebody tell me.
Hit up our sponsor Aquaries if you need.
So Jacob, we got less than a minute. Got anything you want to throw out there before we go?
I just really wish, my birthday is next Thursday. And for my birthday, I just want everyone to go to www.openmicers.com. Check out our Patreon tiers. And at this point, if you give us money on Patreon, what that goes to is longer episodes. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, if you want us to be able to do this longer, then please go support us on patreon.com. And, come listen to me and Jason get drunk next week. That'll be fun.
Yeah, and go to tpublic.com, look up Open Micers Podcast. Go buy some merch from us. That helps us out a lot, too. And go to MississippiRiverSharks.com to see me and Jacob's OnlyFans. And but no, just go to @OpenMicers on Twitter, Open Micers Podcast on Facebook. Of course, OpenMicers.com takes you directly to our Patreon. And if you want to email us, openmicerspodcast@gmail.com. And we will see you next week. Goodbye, Kyla. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, guys. Bye-bye. Happy birthday, Jacob.
Yeah. I'm going to take my shirt off.
Happy birthday, yeah.
Are you coming to the juke joint?
All right, I'm ending the stream. Thank you guys for watching. I'll be back in 30 minutes.
Bye-bye.
Bye.